And welcome back, everyone, to the Black Twitch League. RareAdam alongside Reno here, a newcomer into the caster booth for this season. How are you doing today?
Uh oh, wait, Ito didn't tell you, bro?
What?
I've been here since season one.
Yeah, I'm saying for this season, how are you doing?
Ain't no newcomer, but what's up, man? I'm alright. How about yourself?
Not too bad myself either. We've got ourselves quite the matchup here today. It's going to be WCU Rams versus MG Element. Both of these teams looking poised, looking real good in the standings right now. MG Element looking to sort of solidify themselves atop this ranking here, but you can already see some of these bans coming through. WCU Rams going to be banning out the Katarina, the Zeri, and the Tryndamere. On your flip side for MG Element, the Veigar and the Corki are already taken away. What do you think about these bans?
Hmm. Okay. That's seeing as Victor was the last person to be banned out of these six so far. Man, this is going to be an interesting matchup. The Zeri ban was crucial because right now that champion is absolutely disgusting. Tryndamere is one of the I don't know. I would say one of the best champions to be played right now. He can just absolutely tear through teams by himself, and it's redundant. Facing him, I have cried like 3 times in the past week. I'm not gonna lie. Ooh,
And they are just racing through
Jinx.
their draft here. My goodness. The Jinx gets first
There,
picked here. Immediately
there
answered
is
the
no.
Zac and the Ziggs.
There's almost no thought process going into this. Like they already know who they're picking. I already know who they're banning. They're just getting straight into it.
Yeah, for sure. And for the side of MG Element here, they've got one of the most interesting players on their roster thus far this season. If we look at the stat sheet that was created by the community, of course, you can see highest KDA thus far this season is Runner 90 in the jungle for MG Element, boasting 18.4 KDA. This guy has been on fire thus far, pulling out his signature Zac pickup here. This MG Element team is scary on so many different levels.
Excuse me. My apologies. So he has a They gave him one of his best champions. They have absolutely no fear of the Zac then.
Yeah, by the
But
looks of
that
it,
Jinx and Thresh bottom lane is going to be very, very interesting.
yeah, they're showing no fear from that Zac. They're saying, you know what, you may have beat some of those other teams in convincing fashion, but we do not care. And King Annihilator as well, gonna get their hands on the Yasuo here. MG Element are drafting comfort through and through thus far in this draft.
Ooh, Vex ban. Huh. You don't see him banned too often, even if people play him a lot, which
Yeah,
is weird considering how strong he is.
yeah, you can see
Camille?
it's a little bit of a different comfort ban in a lot of ways here. You're gonna see a lot of mid lane bans come through now for MG Element here because they are in that second half. They've already locked in that mid lane champion. They're gonna take away as many counters to that Yasuo as possible, right?
You would hope so. You would hope so.
Yeah, so we'll find out what ends up coming through for WCU Rams. But, we've got this Ziggs pickup here. Looks like it's going to be a Ziggs down in that 80 carry, quote unquote, position. The Rakan going to come through as well. This matchup into the Jinx Thresh, what's your opinion on that, Reno?
Honestly, I ain't gonna hold you up. I played a rank game yesterday. Person decided to play ADC Ziggs. It was just like absolutely disgraceful. Zillion, huh? Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, Zillion is the
Ziggs
hover.
is not a Ziggs is not in a very good place right now. He really isn't, especially not against the meta that's going right now, the hull breaker meta. He is not nowhere near in a good place. And it hurts me to see that because he was one of the people I started off playing. But oh, that Poppy lock in, that solidifies their team. They're gonna have a nice little tanky front line. And then even if you can get to the Jinx, there's that high chance of Zillion just ulting her and she just walks away completely unscathed.
Yeah, it looks like for the side of WCU Rams, they are playing all in favor of this Jinx carrying them in the bottom side of the map here. You can see, even with the likes of this Zillion, the likes of this Poppy, it's all supporting the Jinx. But of course, when we take a look at the flip side, lots of dashes and lots of ways for Poppy to get value out of her W there to be able to ground them. So looking at these team comps already, like there seems to be some pretty strong power points for both of these sides. This Yasuo in the mid lane has a lot of knockups to take advantage of, whereas on the flip side, you've got this Jinx that have so much protection for themselves. And what are your opinions on this draft thus far?
They're both obviously building teams that's directed towards one person in specific. You got WCU built. That's a mouthful. You got the Rams literally just building front a whole wall just so Jinx can do whatever she wants with the Zillion odds or Zillion speed up to make sure she gets in or out of the fight. Then on the MG Element side, you have every character other than Yasuo having some type of knockup, some type of form of knockup, and also giving him a wall with 3 tanky people. So this will most definitely be interesting. And I can't wait to see what kind of crazy knockups we get to see.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing is what sort of combos they're able to get on top of King Annihilator here. Of course, the Poppy gonna make things a little bit more difficult. You know, it's not the easiest to navigate around that champion from time to time, especially when we take a look at the fact that it can stop all of these dashes, it can stop the Yasuo from moving around these team fights, it can stop Runner 90 from just jumping in indiscriminately into these fights. So this Poppy's going to get a lot of value. Of note, it is going up into that top lane. Would you have preferred it to see it in the jungle here?
Nah, I would. That's not something I would want to see in the jungle because that, excuse me, her teleport pressure gives her a lot more. That teleport gives her a lot more pressure than her being in the jungle because Yasuo is constantly going to be either mid or trying to roam. And if he's roaming, she's roaming, which gives, I was about to say Poseidon, which gives Zillion more reason to also roam. And if they're bottom, she's bottom. If he's bottom, she's bottom. I'm pretty sure of it. This Poppy isn't going to let Yasuo just do whatever the heck he wants, even if they're in 2 different lanes. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, we've still got a lot to sort of dissect in terms of the draft here. There's a lot of other there's a lot of other factors at play. Of course, we've got this Jinx down in the bottom side of the map. We know how strong she can be. We'll have to find out how that works against this Ziggs Rakan lane from out of blue and late game carry. Of note, MG Element, they've been absolutely on fire this season. 4 games, 4 wins for themselves, whereas for WCU Rams, they had a really tough series against Barbara's Fan Club last week. They went down 2-1, so they're looking to get a little bit of revenge for themselves here. But just looking at these drafts as a whole, Reno, who are you favoring to take game 1 here?
Rams.
Gonna be
I'm gonna say
Rams.
By the way, you gotta fix the DPS in the bottom.
Yeah, I did. I do need to fix that. 1 second here.
No, I'm favoring the Rams because I've seen Jinx pop off even when she was behind as a person who's played a absolutely ridiculous amount of Jinx. Absolutely ridiculous amount of Jinx. But you got the double ignite pressure, which is going to be tricky.
Yeah, it will be a little bit challenging to contest with the amount of damage that will come out from those 2 ignites. But we're going to head to a quick break here before we get into our first game to sync up everything and get through the spectator delay. But when we come back, we're going to have WC Rams versus MG Element, game 1 on the Rift for you. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Black Twitch League. And welcome back, everyone, to Black Twitch League here. Week 3, Day 2 games here between WCU Rams and MG Element. RareAdam alongside Reno here in the caster booth, and we are getting ready for what could be a crazy level 1 here. Look at all the pings going down here. What is going on?
Will we get to see level 1? Oh, level 1 invade.
Looks like Asian Damon actually going to get knocked up here. They've got the combos going down. Asian Damon going to flash over that wall. It will be flash for flash used between the two supports. So early on, a little bit of pressure being put down by MG Element down onto this bottom side of the map.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, well played at the level 1. And, you know, the flash being down on that Thresh, we get to see did not take the Hex Flash. So opting for some different runes here. What's your take on the rune situation here across the board here? You can see Conquer on the Zac, Glacial on the Thresh, a couple of odd options here, at least from the get-go.
You say Glacial? Oh, wow. Why did I not pay attention to that? Glacial on Thresh? That's something I've actually never seen. So I can't even comment on that. That's insane. Oh, we did get raided. Yeah, we got raided.
Oh, nice. Perfect. Thank you for the raid from the community. But, of course, into this game here, you can see level 1, nothing too crazy going on here, apart from those flashes getting burned. You know, no kills going over, which is interesting because sometimes that first blood can really turn the tides of this battle, but nothing too crazy for the time being. Of note, Dolly down here on this bottom side also took Ghost on the Jinx, so really looking to get that movement speed as high as possible.
I'm enjoying this new meta where ADCs don't really take heals. They taking everything but heal, basically. And it's actually starting to be fun because that means people are starting to realize that there's a lot more capabilities out there.
Yeah, they're able to sort of find any sort of advantages that they want, but as it stands right now, you can see the lane's just sort of staying in a stalemate for the time being. This bottom side of the map, out of blue, not looking to try and fight this early on, just looking to farm up, but you can see a little bit of a lane swap actually coming down. Please don't run it. Going to actually match up into the Cho'Gath on the top side as Kingfisher goes into the mid lane to match up against that Yasuo. An interesting lineup, to say the least. Putting the Poppy mid lane here gives you a little bit of a better lane matchup specifically here for King Annihilator into, or for Kingfisher actually into King Annihilator. So we'll see if the King Annihilator is able to take down the Kingfisher in this case. Both of them have kings in their names, so, you know, it's about time we made some Kingslayer jokes at the end of the day here. But regardless, just going to be a little bit of a slower early game here. Of note, both of these junglers clearing from their top side down to the bottom side of the map here. Not a whole lot of action quite yet.
This would be interesting to see because this Poppy versus Yasuo matchup, well, one, Poppy's going to lose a lot of CS and be slightly behind because she doesn't want to sit and fight. She doesn't even want to get close to Yasuo, from what I can tell. And then in bottom lane, we got the Ziggs that absolutely does not want to try to fight early. He will lose pre-6, and you can tell that the caution piece that he's taking is because he's trying to just farm from a distance without getting any type of hits.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that the first gank coming down onto this bottom side of the map, Dissipate really not able to take advantage of too much there. You know, on this top side, you can see Runner 90 trying to make something happen, but we've got a little bit of action everywhere. Flay gonna come down onto late game carry as the hook comes down as well. Please don't run it. Not able to get the flash through. Gonna get the stun down onto Runner 90 as Guipo and Runner 90 are fighting on this top side of the map here. Lots of damage going back and forth. The Rupture gonna come down. Guipo gonna flash away from that time bomb as it ends up just being a flash from Guipo. Traded for the flash from Please Don't Run It. Meanwhile, more fighting actually on this top side of the map. You can see Guipo now taking a little bit of damage. Will actually get taken down for first blood. The time bomb's able to come down as Please Don't Run It. Able to find themselves a nice little kill. Now Runner 90, though, has to be a little bit careful. Trying to save that passive for as long as possible. Seems like they're just going to take one time bomb and be able to get out of there alive. The teleport from Guipo. Going to prevent anything else from going down. But yeah, first blood on that top side of the map for the side of WCU Rams. But yeah, we can see right now lots of farm advantages starting to come through for the side of MG Element here. About 10 CS lead for the Cho'Gath despite taking that first blood death there as well in the mid lane. Yasuo does have a little bit of a lead of their own. Going to be building that up as well as the wave is shoving into them. And we know how well Yasuos are able to push their advantages, push out their waves, and look for roams around the map. Especially considering how many knockups and setup there is for this Yasuo. So curious to see where exactly they are going to stake their claim, if they're going to look for a play on the bottom side, or if potentially those knockups come into that mid lane to set up for King Annihilator getting some kills onto Kingfisher here. But yes, you can see a lot of attention being put towards this mid lane here for King Annihilator thus far. It's been a little bit of an interesting go of things for this matchup. Yes, it is a Poppy in the mid lane to match up against the Yasuo, but thus far the Yasuo hasn't been feeling too bad about this matchup, all things considered. Still holding a pretty nice CS lead up about 2 waves and sort of waiting to see what their next sort of action is going to be in this mid lane, because thus far it's just been a farm fest here, Reno. So what do you think this Yasuo needs to do to sort of get online in this game? Seems like Reno not on the mic right now, but regardless, we will keep going here. Runner 90 here, looking to try and set up a play on the bottom side of the map. Level 6 already here, so let's see if they're able to make any plays. 4 members of the WCU Rams, though, going to be moving up towards this dragon. The Hextech Dragon going to just be autoing that one down. Picking that up for the first dragon of the game. Next drag will be that Infernal, so got a couple of choices for that soul. You've got the mountain, you've got the ocean, and the possibility of a cloud soul as well. But 3 members now moving down to the bottom side of the map. Late game carry going to be able to get out of there with that battle dance. Yeah, CS for the time being, just sort of chilling right now. It's been consistently the side of MG Element with these leads. Not so much so a massive gold lead for them right now. They actually still are down just a little bit, but this, yes, is helping bridge that gap here, especially in that mid lane right now, where Yasuo now starting to set up a little bit of a lane freeze here. Kingfisher not really confident enough to walk up and look for these plays, as you can see Runner 90 and late game carry are walking around the area, always threatening the potential of setting up for King Annihilator here in this mid lane, who has had some of the more impressive performances thus far this season. Really been popping off the score sheet with those scores. Here comes the play into the mid lane, though, as Runner 90 going to land 1/2 of the stretching strikes. Doesn't look like they're going to commit all the way in for that play, but a good attempt there. We can see why Poppy is going to be so safe in this mid lane, especially against this Yasuo. Wave getting shoved in. 20 CS lead here for the side of the Yasuo already, so feeling pretty good about things, all things considered right now. We'll have to see what their next sort of play is. As gold lead still pretty irrelevant here. Only about 100 to 200 gold here between these two teams. A lot of that first blood gold just being made up for in the CS department here, as well as the CS lead from Dissipate. But King Annihilator going in for some heavy trades here against this Poppy. She's not really able to get a whole lot of safety in this mid lane, constantly under threat from this Yasuo. Here comes the play, though. They're going to find the knockup. It's going to be the Ignite drop down onto Kingfisher, who flashes away. Guipo is here to potentially dissuade the 2v2. Dissipate tries to make something happen. Still has that ultimate available, but will not opt to use it here. King Annihilator, the only one to use that ultimate, but it's going to be used for the flash from Kingfisher. But this CS lead starting to grow pretty big in the mid lane. King Annihilator now up about 30 CS. Going to be closed up a little bit by Kingfisher, but that effectively just closes up the gold lead that the side of WCU Rams have at this point in time. But yeah, as it stands right now, still just in a little bit of a waiting stage here. 11 minutes into this one, sort of just vibing, sitting by the campfire, waiting for something to happen. The hook's gonna actually come down, but really good three-man knockup and charm coming through from late game carry. Runner 90 and late game carry trying to clean up this fight, but Dolly has already been able to strike. Actually, the kill goes over to Dissipate there, taking down out of blue. Dissipate going to be able to live with about 100 HP left there, so just barely the slimmest of margins that end up being the difference between a 1-for-1 and just the straight-up kill going the way of MG Element. So close but no cigar here for the side of MG Element on this bottom side of the map. WCU Rams, they've been looking really good in this early game thus far, really playing proactively and playing towards their win conditions. Now Kingfisher under fire once again. King Annihilator still carrying a pretty hefty CS lead for themselves. It's been a tough go of things in this mid lane thus far. Still about a 20 CS lead for this Yasuo over the Poppy, but some more plays up on this top side. Guipo gonna have to be a little bit careful. The Chilling Smite gonna come down. Guipo gonna move forward and flash and chomp to pick themselves up a kill onto Please Don't Run It. Asian Damon now up on this top side of the map, as well as Guipo just demanding so many members here on this top side. Will end up going down to Dissipate, but man, they're able to outplay Please Don't Run It. They're not even getting the ultimate down from the Zillion, thus leading to a 1-for-1. So unfortunate for Please Don't Run It, not able to use that Chrono Shift on themselves to keep themselves alive. Here out of blue, though, going to be in a little bit of a dicey situation. Is forced to use that Satchel Charge to get out of there. Teleport going to be coming into the mid lane for Please Don't Run It here, as the action is starting to rotate around this mid lane. Of note, though, King Annihilator still able to get the Lamb's share of this gold in terms of the CS as well. Farming at about a clip of 10 CS a minute, so that's really what we like to see. But second dragon now on the Rift here. Going to be curious to see how this plays out, but it's going to be a stun coming down onto Runner 90. Will get popped down into that passive, but late game carry going to go to the backline. Three-man knock up into the three-man Yasuo ultimate. That is the combo that they were looking for. Late game carry will be able to get out alive. It's going to be Guipo picking up that first kill of the fight, but here comes King Annihilator going down onto Asian Damon here. Dolly with that Chrono Shift as well. It will get popped. It's a kill going over to the Rakan. Another kill going over to Guipo there, but it ends up being a clean 5-for-0 ace from the side of MG Element. Only the Zac passive was burned in terms of life revives and everything, but effectively a very, very clean ace coming through from MG Element, and this is exactly what we are to expect from them.
See, I came in at a very exciting moment. Still trying to get my bearings here. Yeah, I'm sorry. It seems like our other caster has been ganked by their child, and has not been able to be on the mic to Bruno. So I figured I'd come in and join you, ask about the state of the game. How are things going so far?
We just saw around the second dragon of the game, you know, WCU Rams had themselves a very solid early game presence. They were able to find themselves some pretty strong advantages, able to find a kill into out of blue, but big fight around that Infernal Dragon leads to a really substantial change in tides here. It ends up being about a 3,000 gold swing here, going back in favor of MG Element, and we've always seen them. They're able to play around the likes of King Annihilator in this mid lane and find those big advantages, and they do that once again. You know, 2-0 and 3, 140 CS. This guy is he's a scary mid laner here, probably one of the best we've got.
Yeah, and then I think we got this question last week where I think someone asked me, can we call King Annihilator the best mid laner in BTL? And I still want to pump the brakes, like, I can't say that yet because there are lots of other good mid laners in BTL, and we can't just say that before seeing the matchup. But statistically right now, it's kind of undeniable that, I mean, he's doing the best so far. MG Elements has not dropped a game. They are 2-0 after 2 weeks. They're 4-0 in all their games, so they haven't lost. Also, whenever I saw this team comp, so I don't know exactly how that team fight went, whenever I saw this team comp, I was thinking, wait, this is a Yasuo team comp, right? Like 100% a Yasuo team comp. Every single person on the team, if I'm understanding correctly, I think even Ziggs Satchel should count as a knockup for Yasuo, right?
It does, yes. So
yeah, so every single person on the team can set up for King Annihilator. I don't know how that team fight went, but I imagine it probably had something to do with massive Yasuo things.
Yeah, and if we pull back the VOD and look at it after, it's a 3-man Recon ultimate into a 3-man knockup into a 3-man Yasuo ultimate there, but King Annihilator still just looking so good thus far this game. You know, look at the farm, look at the lead that they've got for themselves, and Runner 90 keeping their case for being the Meteos of this league. Just absolutely astronomical KDA after 2 series thus far. 4 games, we said 18.4 KDA. That's unheard of, especially in a very skirmish heavy meta here. But out of blue though, gonna be feeling the pains of being that weak side bot laner, so to speak. Dissipate gonna be flashing through, picking up their 3rd kill of the game. So unfortunately, the Ziggs having to soak up a lot of the pressure that the Yasuo is sort of circumventing through that mid lane.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I was going to say that I think this could be a pretty good litmus test or a test for just how dominant MG Element is. I think that WCU Rams is a team that can show that they are a very good team. They may not be at the top of the standings, but they came in week 1 with a very dominating performance. I think they took a game off of Barbara's fan club, if I remember correctly.
They did, yes.
So they're a very strong team too. So I feel like this will be the match to see. Is MG Elements just like far ahead of everyone else in the league, or is there still some comparison? Oh my god.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a scary fight here. Actually, King Annihilator going to be taken down. Great teleport from behind from Please Don't Run It here on the Zillion. They're able to find the 2 for 0. Yes, Asian Damon almost taken down there, but man, it is going to be a good shutdown picked up into the pockets of Dissipate and Dolly this time here. So finally, the Jinx able to get on the board with her first kill of the game. They're able to find the key members. They're able to consistently find some strong fights. It's just once it comes to the team fights, what do the side of WCU Rams need to do to keep themselves, I want to say, relevant through this Yasuo comp?
I guess just kill Yasuo early, catch him out, do a pick comp. Don't fight him in 5v5. Don't let them start the fight. Don't let them start the fight with the big knockup with initiation and that Yasuo will go absolutely crazy. If you can get the picks, if you can try to fight in a way where you don't have to fight full on 5-on-5, but in a more skirmishy way, get a pick with the Thresh and the Jinx, get a pick with some type of stuns or something like that, deny the engage by Zac using the Poppy W, then I think they'll just be in a much better case. I don't think they should fight on 5-on-5. They shouldn't let MG Element engage the fight on their own terms, and I think that they should be fine. They're 6-6 here. They're looking much better. I think that fight kind of put them back to this game, and I think it's shown that WC Rams is not a team that MG Element could just run over like the previous that they fought, which is like so far it's been what Trebuchet and MG Element also play predictive gaming, so 2 teams that aren't doing so well so far. So I think MG Element has. I think that's why I was like, pump the brakes on King and Nire being the absolute best. You gotta respect Nukes. You gotta respect Deny. You gotta respect the other people that are really good in the mid lane. But I mean, so I think this will be a good match.
And I mean, thus far the stats don't lie. If we go purely off of stats, yes, King Annihilator is the best mid laner right now, but there's still a case to be made for the rest of the league. It's been a rather easy first couple of weeks for the side of MG Element. Granted, they looked very dominant in those 2 matchups. They won games in pretty crushing ways, I want to say, against the likes of Predictive Gaming and Trebuchet, but here, posturing around this 3rd dragon here, 19 minutes into the game, they're still holding about an 1,000 gold lead. A lot of that just has to do with their CS leads, but look at the side here. Here comes Runner 90 into the backline with the Elastic Slingshot. Where is the Yasuo? The Yasuo dealing some big damage with a 3-man double bomb actually going to come down, really stop up the fight, but please don't run it. Not going to be able to find anything with that Chrono Shift. It's already a death down on to the Zillion, but Dolly now starting to pop off in this backline. Dolly, double kill coming through for the Jinx. It's a 2 for 2 thus far, but the health bars are oh so low. Somehow it ends up only being a 2 for 2, but MG Element still able to take the fight win. Because of those health bars, they're going to get that dragon as well.
That's so well played by WC Rams, though. I can't. The triple up. I'm a big Zillion player. As a big Zillion mid player, love to see a good double bomb from Zillion. That I think that's done to completely save that fight, along with a good Zillion ultimate. Jinx was in the back, able to get a lot of damage off. They still lose the Jagger, but they end up not losing the fight too terribly hard. They aren't putting too much more gold into Yasuo's pockets. I think that was really well played by WC Rams. They did that as good as they can to avoid the fight there. So they ended up not being just a full 5-on-5. They were able to kind of back, and I think that's what they need to do in these team fights to try to stay alive. Because if Yasuo gets too far ahead, then it won't really matter. Just get any type of start to a fight. He'll just kind of run through them. But I think they're doing a pretty good job of making sure it doesn't get too crazy. So I like that. I mean, they lost the dragon, but I like that fight for WCU Rams.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a really good starting point for them. They know their game plan. Kill the Yasuo or do as much damage to them as possible. Prevent the team fight from coming down. Really spread it out. Get those double bombs down. That's going to be your key skill in a lot of ways. Using your double bomb on top of some key members to prevent them from really feeling the fear. And right now, this Ziggs, only one item, still scaling up. We've got to give respect to Out of Blue as well. Despite them having a little bit of a rough start to this game, and despite them always playing these sort of side meta AP picks to accommodate King Annihilator's playstyle here, they're still a very talented player, as King Annihilator showing exactly what they're made of. And Dolly gonna be able to stay alive by a sliver there. The shield's coming through from the Zillion, and the Thresh gonna be enough to keep him alive.
Oh, he's so scary. Yasuo's so scary. King Annihilator is so scary. This almost just deletes Jinx in front of her team. Like, they just would have watched Jinx just die. That was crazy.
And it's been the story of King Annihilator thus far this season in terms of getting kills. You know, 51 kills throughout 4 games. That's an average of 12.5 kills a game. Like, we've been setting lines for King Annihilator, and consistently they've been surpassing them, going above and beyond. Of note, though, please don't run it. Playing the more supportive style on the Zillion this time around has the second most kills in the league as well. So both of these mid laners here,
aware of that.
yeah, please don't run it. Playing top lane this game just to get a better matchup is still very skilled in their own right. They have been able to play incredibly well, and
which I was going to comment on that lane swap. I thought that was so smart. I thought that was like that just shows, I think it shows the flexibility of the team and the willingness to be flexible and just like kind of like concede that lane and be like, okay, this will not work out for me, not until I'm level 6. I do not want to lane against this. Poppy's much better in the situation. Let's go ahead and do this lane swap, and I could just kind of freely farm it out in top lane, and just we can still get to our late game team fights that we want. So I think that was really smart. And then I think like I know WC Rams, I mean, it's pretty obviously a collegiate team, WCU. And I think that they show that they like play together and they trust each other to be able to make those adjustments mid-game or early in the game.
The adjustments coming through absolutely massive, I think, in terms of preventing this Yasuo from just sort of flexing all over the Zillion in a lot of ways. Zillion has wave clear, has ways to stop the Yasuo, but Poppy is a tank. Poppy in the early game will press W, Yasuo can't do anything, whereas right now you can see the matchup that Guipo can, or the amount of damage that Guipo can do to the likes of Kingfisher here. 2 items on the Cho'Gath, still just doing so much. We know Guipo is this tank beast thus far, just really good in these side lanes at putting pressure down. Even when they have a bad game, they soak up a lot of pressure as well, and they're able to be that sort of weak side warrior. Doesn't get a whole lot of jungle attention, just able to do whatever. Oh man.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh!
Guipo,
I did the tower.
Eating well. That's for sure. Gonna feast down on that Poppy. We were setting up for it too. We were just like, you know, this might happen. It's coming. And of note here, Guipo, despite playing the Cho'Gath in the top lane here, not a role you usually associate with high kill participation. 100% kill participation this game for their team.
Oh wait, that's crazy. You're right. That's crazy. The top lane Cho'Gath with 100% KP. No one else has triple the KP of the jungler.
Exactly. And on the flip side, their Dissipate has really been the person to keep our eye on for the WCU Rams, as they're the one with the 100% kill participation on the enemy team. So a lot of the action going through these big, beefy, or what Yanni calls them as bunguses, that's really where this this attention is being put through. That's where all the plays are being created. But you can see, third dragon going to be, the 4th dragon of the game. 3rd dragon potentially for the side of MG Element, going to be spawning in a little bit. Guipo's going to have that ultimate available, and Soul Point here. It is Cloud Soul, not as important as some of these other souls, but it ends up being really good for the likes of Rakan, for Zac, for Yasuo, who are going to use their ultimates in the middle of everyone and be able to just run around afterwards.
Very true. I feel like this is going to be a really rough dragon for WCU to secure, to get to.
They're gonna give it.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, it's like you can't really steal dragon from a Cho'Gath, like, at all. So
Man.
He does even use it, but yeah, it's a tough situation. Look at how massive that Cho'Gath is going to be. I think the Yasuo seem like the problem, but I feel like, to me, it feels like this Cho'Gath is probably going to be the biggest problem for them if they can control Yasuo, because Cho'Gath just feels so. It just feels so like what can you do? Yeah. Oh, good W there from Poppy too, and then that's what I was talking about preventing the Zac to disengage. If you have a popular team that's on top of it,
no way,
right? Pretty much never. No.
Oh, they're just going. They're just going for this Baron. Yeah, right in front of their face. Guipo still has that ultimate available.
Do something about it.
They did not use it. Here comes Poppy with the Keeper's Verdict. King Annihilator going to block that up with the Wind Wall. Going to go in for that engage. Here comes Late Game carrying to the backline. Here's the fight that they're looking for. Lots of damage coming through from out of blue. King Annihilator is still holding on to that ultimate, but it's 2 kills already picked up. The Ziggs picking up the triple kill here. We said that this Ziggs was the weak side warrior, but no, out of blue says, I am the carry. Although Dolly making a case for themselves, dealing a whole chunk of damage back the other way. Please don't run it, and Dolly will be able to prevent the Baron from going down. But my goodness, what a fight from MG Element once again.
What? And what a call. What a ballsy call. Because they know that they want to take the fight. They know that they're stronger. They know that if this fight happens right now, this is going to go in our favor. So they just do the Baron in front of them and like say, I dare you to engage on us. I dare you to stop us. And dare they did, and lost the fight they did as well. But I mean, fantastic play, I think, from the Jinx there and from the surviving members of WCU to make sure that they weren't able to actually secure the Baron after that fight. Jinx was able to get them low enough where they didn't want to dare anymore. They weren't so bold anymore. So, but I think just incredible play call on the side of MG Elements to try and that's just so bold. That's just that just shows a team that is 100% on the same page. They're like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to commit to it. And we're going to make them react to it. I think that was super well done.
Yeah, you know, this is something that MG Element has been consistent in. They've been always able to find really key engages when necessary. They're able to find, you know, a big fight where Ziggs is able to output so much damage. This Ziggs, sitting on 2 items now, has a lot of burn damage you've got to be weary of, and especially when you are this Volibear from Dissipate, this Thresh from Asian Damon here. They're trying to build tanky stats. It will not matter against the Leandras and a Demonic Embrace. They will burn down to the ground. And Jinx doesn't really appreciate all of that damage either, because she will blow up if that Mega Inferno Bomb comes down right on top of her head. So it's still a really difficult situation for the likes of the side of WCU Rams to get back into this one. You know, only 2,500 gold down, but MG Element, they're able to consistently find so much with so little.
80 life, man. This Jinx has to play so well. The Jinx has to be scared of so many things. Not only can Ziggs blow Jinx up, but so can Yasuo. And honestly, so can Cho'Gath. That feels bad, but that's just the truth. Cho'Gath, if Cho'Gath gets in feast range of you and knocks you up with WE, you'll actually just die. So Jinx has to just continue to play super well. I think also, this is also on Zilean, I think, to ensure to help Jinx play well with the speed ups and with the ultimate. And because Jinx is the key to WCU, I think, making inroads in this game too. If WCU is going to be victorious, and it has to be, I think, with some really good gameplay, some really great damage coming out of Jinx, and continuing to play these fights really well. And are they doing it again?
Yep, they're going for it once again here, clearing out that vision. The side of WCU Rams are aware that this is going down. They might not know how quickly this is going down. Gonna bait out that blue trinket once again and just peel off. They've got the Warmogs on the Zac, so every time they start this up, Zac can just tank it all up. They can walk away. They can continue this Baron bait, and what it's doing is it's giving Guipo so much free time in this side lane here where, please don't run it. They will not win that side lane matchup over time. The attrition will...
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's a war of attrition in the bottom side, and Cho'Gath very often will win out on that.
Yeah. Look at Zilean looking into that Cho'Gath. I mean, you're just trying to clear the minion waves. You really can't do anything. That's not a side lane that you have any chance in at all. It's really sad. You really can't do anything there, but you have to play with your team as Zilean and just kind of clear those waves.
Oh, but look at the play from WCU Rams. They teleport in to this Baron here. They might be looking for a little bit of a cheeky Baron play of their own, but they're not 100% sure of the vision that has been placed. It looks like they're going to be a little bit slow on the uptake here, and the side of MG Element, they're just going to push down that mid lane tower, and they can just check that so easily with that Ziggs bomb. They see that they might be on it now, and here comes the play. 5 members strong, moving over towards this Baron here. Baron's already down to about half HP. Gwippo trying to be that front line, tanking up all that crowd control. Runner 90 is over that wall, has a potential. Hook going to come down onto Out of Blue, though, but Out of Blue going to be going golden for the time being. Here comes Runner 90 over the top here. That's a two-man knockup, and King Annihilator starting to do the damage. Late game carry, able to find a kill to begin this one off. King Annihilator found another one. It's a kill into Gwippo. It's a kill onto everyone here. It's only Dolly who is left alive, but there is no chance that they are going to be able to find anyone in this play. A 4-for-0 picked up by MG Element, as once again, they're able to play so well around this map, stay so safe, and they're going to be able to pick themselves up this Baron.
Ooh, that's, yeah, they can't fight him in straight up fights like that. Those straight up 5v5s are 100% going to go in MG Element's favor, I think, every single time. That's unfortunate from WCU Rams that they just didn't have confidence in their vision. They didn't know exactly where MG Elements were. If they knew that MG Elements were down at that Dragon Flag, I think they should have started that Baron as soon as they got there. They got to about half before that fight started. If they started that Baron earlier, I think they could have actually snuck it before MG Element made it all the way over there. So I think that was a missed opportunity there. I think they paid very dearly for it, losing the fight and then the Baron on top of it, as well as the Dragon and the Dragons. Oh my God, everything just went bad. They're really down bad after that. That was super unfortunate.
And that's sort of the mantra of MG Element. They're always able to find 1, and then 2, and then 4, and then 8, and just keep doubling from there. They always are able to make one small fight end up ballooning into these massive advantages. And what was a 2,000 gold lead for the side of MG Element, now it's 7,000 gold just off of a Baron, a 1 fight, and a Dragon. That's how easily they're able to push forward these advantages.
That is just insane. Oh man, that feels so bad. The WCU Rams, I'm always trying to figure out, like, all right, how can the person that's losing this game make it back in? Or like, I'm trying to find the underdog. Like, oh man, that's just hurts so bad. Now they're gonna try to see if, I mean, they have to avoid these fights. They obviously aren't winning these 5v5s, and I don't think they can. Honestly, I'm not sure if they have to get a pick. It can't be a 5v5. It has to be something. And then it's so hard to find a pick because 2 of the people you can't pick off at all. I think the Zac and the Cho'Gath are just way too tanky right now. I have to try to find something on Ziggs, maybe Yasuo. Someone needs to mess up.
Yeah, they were able to really put the Ziggs down into the dirt for the early game here, but you know, Out of Blue once again showing how stubborn they are on that bottom side, just able to stick with it, able to consistently find some way to be relevant, and it all comes off of 1 fight. They were able to get all 3 of their kills off of 1 fight where they forgot about the Ziggs and how much damage they're able to output, and you can see the siege just coming down on multiple fronts. Gwippo on this top side consistently pushing in. The rest of the 4 members going to sit in this mid lane, consistently put these towers under siege. And, you know, it's a Ziggs. The satchel charge just going to be able to execute those towers after a certain point, so the siege gets so much scarier if you are the side of WCU Rams. Your towers effectively have 75% health at all times.
And they using this Baron buff, whoa, splitting it up amongst the different lanes. There's, oh, what a well-executed siege here. And yeah, look
there
at
goes
the
tower.
It's gone. Deleted. It's just, yeah, it was just Ziggs and Rakan. Like that wasn't a full team. That was just those 2, and they just deleted that tower. And look up here. Look what's happening up here. This Cho'Gath. No, not again. Don't do this to Poppy again.
Yeah.
None of the Nexus. None of the inhibitor tower.
And this is going to end up being a 7,000 gold Baron power play. Absolutely massive stuff coming through from the side of MG Element. This is the sign of a top team in the BTL. This is what you want to see. They're able to play around their macro advantages so well over and over again. And basically, both of those endgame objectives going to be available for them in about 3 minutes. 2.5 minutes on that Baron, 3 minutes on that Elder Dragon. They're looking poised to end the game before that even happens right now.
Yeah. That this now they have the inhibitor down bot lane. They have the Supermans coming in, the naked inhibitor in the mid lane. Yeah, that inhibitor is still there, but it has not been taken. Next objective, I don't know if they even make it to. What do you do as WCU Rams? That's the question here.
It's a tough call because
I'm looking for answers. It's tough. Even Out of Blue does not seem very easy to kill anyway. Like, no one here is easy to kill. Do you just, like, can you sit back and scale? Or do you outscale?
No,
so that's
I don't think
whenever,
so.
Whenever you need to scale, but you don't outscale, so it's like, oh well. I mean, especially, look at that thing right there.
Yeah, look at Gwippo.
Oh man. yeah, look at that. Is that even a champion? Is that 2 champions?
It's a
I feel like he
monster.
should. I feel like he should count as a colossal, like in TFT, and he should.
Yeah,
take 2 champion
exactly.
spots. Yeah, he's obviously just way too overpowered if he's only taking 1. And he still has 4 teammates. That's not fair. He should have only 3 teammates.
Oh my goodness, what is that damage? Oh, please don't run it. Gonna take a Ziggs bomb to the face, get eaten up as well, but actually, Guipo gonna go on a killing spree, picking that one up. Zach now bouncing in that backline. Dissipate gonna go down as Runner 90 finds another one. Guipo still moving forward so aggressively, just living forever here, and it doesn't look like there's any answers coming through from the side of WCU Rams. Such a clean fight. It will be a 5-for-1 as it will be the tower helping out to take down that Recon at the end. But triple kill comes through for Runner 90. Anyone who's watching the KDA count here, it's another perfect KDA game for the Zach. So Runner 90 continues the legacy as MG Element just explode after the 30-minute mark and take themselves their first win of the series.
Whew. Yeah, you know what? That was looking like it was going to be close. There were some good fights there by WCU Rams, but I think just maybe ease of execution, the scaling, the team fight, the 5v5, they just drafted a better 5v5. I think you got to go back to the draft there because at some point it just felt like it wasn't necessarily the misplays. I mean, I think they may have made some macro decisions that didn't necessarily go the way like with the Baron play earlier, but it just felt like at some point their comp just could not win compared to the comp that MG Element had. And that just feels really bad when you're in that situation. Like, oh, what can we do? Well, we can't do anything. We already messed up 30 minutes ago whenever we drafted this team to that compared to that team. Oh, well, that's going to be a solid victory game 1 for MG Element.
A really solid win. And I have to ask you, what is the way back into this game for the side of WCU Rams? What do they need to do? And maybe what do they need to ban?
Oh God, maybe Yasuo, I guess. Maybe Cho'Gath. Maybe does that game not feel less bad if Cho'Gath doesn't mouse it, or find some way to deal with Cho'Gath. If you're going to draft a team that doesn't fight 5v5, probably draft better side laners. You know what I mean? Like they also like not only could they not 5v5, they also couldn't 1-4, right? Like they couldn't because they couldn't side lane versus Cho'Gath, which means if you can't side lane and you also can't 5v5. What do you do? Maybe like a Fiora or something that could deal with the Cho'Gath better because they did not have a way of dealing with them in the side lanes and they also couldn't 5v5. So maybe something like that. Ban one of those. Maybe ban either Cho'Gath or Yasuo. Pick someone that can actually lane against a Cho'Gath.
Yeah, and
like in a late game or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe you have to go for that Fiora, as you're saying, a Jax, something that can really cut through that
Yeah,
Cho'Gath
something like that.
if you're going to give it over, or force Guipo to play into some of those carries, and they have struggled a little bit when they are on the Camille on something like that, so that might be the answer, but we will find out what the answer WCU Rams come up with in game number 2 here. We're going to head to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll be into draft for game 2.